Hi, my name is Amy and I have Asperger's, and I've dealt with loneliness for many years now, and it's one of the most challenging aspects of having Asperger's, and so I wanted to talk about the different ways that I've used to cope with the aloneness. The first thing that I really like to do is I always like to have a therapist, because then I'm guaranteed 1 hour a week of someone who will listen to me and someone that'll talk to me and that I can communicate with, and I can talk about whatever I want, and it really helps. It's something I look forward to every week. One of the things that is important about having a therapist or finding one is they have to have a working understanding, a comprehension of Asperger's and what it is. If you don't have that, you'll get labeled a lot of different things: manic depressive, schizoaffective. There's a lot of different things that can kind of mimic some of our Asperger's symptoms. So when you find a therapist, talk to them about Asperger's and see if they're interested in working with you and if they have a knowledge of it, because I find it very helpful. So that's one of the things I do. The second thing I like, I like my antidepressants. Loneliness over extended periods of time breeds depression, and that's just a fact. I've been on antidepressants for many years now, and I find that they help me a great deal. The second type of medication that I like is anti-anxiety meds. I've had periods of time where I've been agoraphobic and haven't left my house, or haven't left the city, or just have a lot of social anxiety and can't deal with being out at all. And I have an anti-anxiety medication now that helps me, along with my antidepressant, to be very functional, or semi-functional as the case may be. Those two things are important to me in my mental health and my well-being. I really like that I found a doctor, a family doctor, that understands autism and Asperger's, because I go in there and I'm not the most accurate historian. I can't describe pain really well, or where I'm hurting. I just oftentimes go in there and say I don't feel well or I feel sick. And then my doctor has this list of questions that we go through one at a time, and sometimes it may take me a while to figure out the answer, but eventually we get to the point of isolating what is going on with me, and she's able to help me to find the right medication to help, or sometimes we just talk, or she'll recommend things. So I really like that. I'm very grateful that I found a doctor that has an understanding of autism and Asperger's. The third thing I do is I blog. Blogging is a wonderful tool for me. It allows me to put my feelings, as diffuse as they are, into words, and then I put the words into the computer on the blog, and then it goes out to cyberspace there, and other people read it. So I feel like I'm being listened to, I feel like I'm being heard, and I feel like I'm being understood when I get comments back from other Aspies saying that they too have the same symptoms I'm talking about, or they feel the same way, or they have the same thoughts, or they've been through a similar experience. So it's my way of connecting to other people, and I very much enjoy blogging. The fourth thing that is important and helpful is to create, to express your pain. I love expressing my pain. I feel so much better afterwards. But I create art, I paint, I write poetry, I create collages and montages and different things. Sometimes I just create a lot of beautiful things, and then other times I really want to try and express my pain and my feelings, and some of those are very very strong pieces. So find out what works for you and then do it. So that is one of the things that helps me. The fifth thing that I do, or that's a good idea, is when especially when feeling so lonely I just can't stand it anymore, is I throw myself into my special interests, whatever that may be. Therefore, I'm taking my focus of being alone and not having anyone to talk to, and I just work on my project, or I read, or I research an obscure subject. One of the many things I like to do that nobody else understands. But that's that helps me to, you know, to feel less lonely, I guess. So throw yourself into your special interests sometime. And then every now and then, like with my art, every now and then I find someone who has a similar passion and we can talk about it for a little bit before they get irritating. But that's another way of meeting people too, is to share your special interests here and there. The sixth thing that I like to do is, throughout my many years, I've volunteered at a number of different places. I've I volunteered at Meals on Wheels and delivered food to senior citizens, which I found especially helpful to me because I'd be bringing, you know, lunch to these people that were also lonely, and they were glad to see me. They'd, you know, open the door with a smile and they'd ask me how I was or how my son was doing, or we'd talk about the weather or little things, but that made me feel good inside to help other people. And I know there's also opportunities. Our local animal shelter is always looking for help. I think our library takes volunteers. Some hospitals, if you're not germophobic, there's probably things you can do there. And at nursing homes, if you approach the activity director, is usually the one in charge. They have a number of volunteer opportunities to either help with bingo or to pass water, to pass snacks, or just to interact with the residents. And let me tell you, I've always interacted very well with geriatrics. I actually used to work in nursing homes, and those people are a lot easier to talk to than your average adult neurotypical, and they're usually very happy to just have someone there. It doesn't matter if you stammer or stutter or twitch, you know, they're just happy to have someone there to talk to. So I highly recommend volunteering if possible. The seventh thing that I think is a great idea are support groups. I live in a very small community and we don't have one yet for Aspies, and I've been trying to work with the one Aspie I know in town, and we just haven't been able to get it together. And but I know larger communities, larger towns and cities do have support groups for people with Asperger's. That's a wonderful idea. If it was available, I would definitely be doing that. Because it isn't available to me, I do sometimes go to, there are some online support sites for Aspies. I think Wrong Planet is one of them. There's a couple others that I visited, and it's really nice because Aspies are people who post questions and then you get to answer them, or they'll just post about how they're feeling, and you know, it's just another way to connect. So think about the online communication. The eighth thing to do, well, you're doing it now. You watch those fabulous YouTube videos with those wonderful Aspies who are so articulate. Just the other night, I had had a really bad day and I just really couldn't talk to anyone. And so I went online and I looked up Asperger's and physical tics, because I was having a really hard time with that. And I found just a couple videos that were, you know, helpful. You know, I felt less alone. But then I decided, well, I should just make a video. And so I did that, and I really like sharing what it's like, you know, being an Aspie, and my symptoms and how I feel and my thoughts, because it's my way of connecting to other people. You know, I feel better about myself doing that. So watch those videos. I got a couple others. The ninth thing I did, which don't try this at home. I don't recommend it at all, but I just, about 20 years ago, I had left my entire family, everyone I knew and everything I knew, in the middle of the night without a note because of some really bad things that happened there. And I found myself in a strange city, town, where I didn't know a single soul in the world. And I finally found a support group for sexual abuse survivors, and that's where I started actually meeting people. And that was a good thing, because I made one acquaintance and a friend. I had my own apartment, I had my own income, and I just remember night after night, you know, sitting outside looking at those stars and having no one. And I didn't want to live my life never having a connection to the world. So I decided to have a baby. And that was a really good move, and the universe smiled upon me, and like within a month I was pregnant. Things just happened. It was meant to be. It was definitely meant to be. And you know, bringing a child into the world, he has Asperger's exactly like I do. I mean, we can sit in a room and just look at each other and we know what each other's thinking. We have the same mannerisms and the same style of talk and the same walk, and we think the same way, and it's amazing and incredible, and I'm not alone anymore. And I'm very grateful that I had my son and that he has my Asperger's, because you know, we're two of a kind. We're like conjoined twins. It's really nice, but I don't recommend that. Please, you know, be very careful. I was very desperate, and like I said, it was meant to be that everything worked out, that it was, you know, a healthy baby and the right donor sperm, and so that's what I did. But you're not alone, and we all, those of us with Asperger's, I think, probably, if we share anything, we share that loneliness, and you're not alone in that, okay? And you'll get through that, and try some of the things I've said, okay? If you want, you can always visit my blog too, Asperger's and the Alien. I write a lot about my pain, so a lot about the happy stuff too. So thank you for watching. Have a good day now. Bye.